What immediately tells you someone is a trashy parent? Zero interest in the kid. Doesn't care what they do or what happens to them as long as they don't inconvenience them. Using your kid as therapy and then getting upset when they have issues regulating their emotions. Refusing to believe their kid can do wrong. Mothers who sees their daughter as competition. Social media influencers whose entire content is their children. People who publicly punish their kids online. Parents who give out way too many details about their children, giving them lack of privacy. Child exploitation at its finest. Parents who can't apologize to a child. It's okay to have human emotions and moment to be triggered or struggling and lash out or be wrong. But for the love of all things good, apologize and change. Doctors of Reddit, what's the worst thing you can do to your body? Untreated hypertension and diabetes. Oh, and cocaine, crack. The coronary vasospasms will do a number on your heart. Applying cow dung to an open fracture. Not my idea. Saw it happen. Dude died to sepsis in less than 24 hours. Drink alcohol for a long period of time. Cirrhosis and ultimate liver failure are one of the worst deaths I can imagine. Long and slow while you get to think about the consequences of your actions while you lose your mind and or bleed to death. Not enough sleep. Think of sleep like recharging your phone. Without it, you can't function. Ignore a clear, concise and increasing sign that something is going wrong. You have a weird pain in your stomach? Okay, can be anything. No worries. You have a new pain. That stays the same or begins getting worse and worse. And after a long period of time it's still clearly there? Then go check. Eat a rock. Note that I have a PhD in geosciences. What's a mystery or unexplained event from your personal life that still baffles you to this day? When I was in 5th grade, I went to science camp on a mountain in California. We had a night hike that was supposed to teach us about the different cells in our eyes. So we did it without any flashlights at all. Our eyes adjusted to just starlight and it was actually pretty cool. Until the counselors made us walk a stretch of the path alone. One by one. We were 10. And at least some of us were still afraid of the dark. Me. So I was far too anxious to listen properly to the instructions. One counselor went ahead through the bushes and radioed for the other to start sending kids. My turn comes up. And I drag my feet down the path. Until I hit a fork. I vaguely remember the counselor saying something about it. Or was I remembering wrong? Which way was I supposed to go? Was it even a fork or was I just not able to see properly in the dark? Mind you, this was a pitch-black mountain in California with nothing around for miles other than the camp. I didn't want to get lost. I looked behind me. Briefly considering going back the way I came to admit that I was a dumbass who didn't listen. But when I turned back to the fork there was a man standing there. He was Asian, wearing wireframe glasses and a white t-shirt. It was barely 50 on the mountain. I wasn't scared. I felt no malice from him. If anything, I was relieved to not be alone in the dark anymore. He gestured for me to go one way. So I did. Rejoined the rest of my class and the counselor radioed to send the next kid. I didn't think anything of it for the rest of the trip. It took me until I was on the bus ride home, reflecting on the hike, to realize that I'd never seen him before. He wasn't one of the counselors leading the hike. He never came out with us. And he never emerged from the bushes after all the kids had done their solo walk. I have no idea who or what he was. I grew up in Texas, close to Louisiana. I was around 11 and playing on my grandmother's driveway with my little sister and cousin. A bird, or something of the sort, flew over the driveway, which was wide enough for 2 vehicles. And its shadow covered the entire width of the driveway plus several feet on each side. My grandmother began screaming at me to grab the babies. She and I each grabbed a child and ran inside. She was pale and trembling and I asked her what it was. She said she didn't know and had never seen anything that size. My grandmother is very rational and non-dramatic. To this day, I'm not sure what flew over her driveway. I think about it once a month. I got sepsis and went into septic shock from an E. coli infection. I almost died. I spent a month in the ICU. Doctors tried to control the infection with IV meds for a few weeks but were losing me, so they had to slice me down the middle and clean me out. I woke up with 5 golf ball-sized open wounds on my stomach. I almost fainted when they made me see them. I knew I couldn't care for them and I could risk being reinfected. They said I could wait a week and be stapled up in the OR or do it awake bedside. I did it awake bedside watching Housewives to distract myself so I could go home for Christmas. I came out with 52 staples down my stomach. And doctors, 4 teams, could never figure out what I ate that almost killed me. To this day I have no idea. It kind of haunts me. My mom and I were driving down a familiar road we usually take. At the stop sign my mother went to turn when we both flinched hard. She, driving, looked at me and we both asked if we just felt something go through us. There were no cars around, nothing in street view. To this day it still gives me chills. I was a kid and had a vivid dream about Easter. I was at my grandma's house but I wasn't me. I was wearing a blue and green dress I'd never seen and it was very old-fashioned. I had this weird pail for candy and eggs. There was a golden retriever puppy and I played with him. In real life, I've never seen a dog at my grandma's house. I remember playing and finding eggs, etc. I told my mom about it the next day and she was weirded out. She said that the dream is one of her memories from an Easter day in her childhood. All the same details. From the dress to the pail to the puppy. Someone pranked our household for about 3 years when I was younger. My family would get waves of strange occurrences like being followed by a white car, strange phone calls, doorbell ringing or knocks on windows very late at night, someone clearly camping out in these big hollowed-out bushes we had in our backyard. The last occurrence I'm aware of in this multi-year string of harassment was someone entered our locked home one morning while I was in the bathroom getting ready for middle school. They came right up to the bathroom door and jiggled the door handle to get in. Luckily the door was locked. I could hear the person stand there for a solid minute before walking away and leaving the house. Everyone else was asleep. I know because I checked before I went to the bathroom to get ready. And was sound asleep when I ran to my mom's room after the stranger left to get her help. We were never able to figure out who it was or what happened. Wild stuff. Wild scary when I was a child. Cops never believed us or did anything. Now I'm just wildly curious who it was and why. What's a seemingly small, trivial thing that makes you instantly burn with the rage of a white-hot sun? When my clothes get stuck on a handle, protruding object as I'm walking and I get yanked backwards. Without warning. Perhaps the most provoking thing I've ever experienced. Someone ordering me to do something while I'm either in the process of doing it or about to do it. I'm not someone who gets annoyed, angry easily, but for some reason that has always gotten under my skin. A big group of people walking really slowly in the middle of the sidewalk that look confused when you go into the road to walk around them. When someone is standing too close to me in line so I inch away and they fucking follow me. When opening anything always requires scissors or a knife. Those innocent, peel here, tabs on food bags never FC king work and always require a pair of scissors to get them open. Ditto for packs of batteries and other items which are encased in NASA-grade plastic. But how are eggs? Which actually are fragile. Packaged? Thin cardboard. People who cut you off then drive slower than you. Or people that just hang out in the left lane with a line of cars behind them that want to pass but can't. It's the principle of it. The lack of concern for other people. The obliviousness and selfishness it must take. Subscribe, my brothers.